Let's go back to our top story now. Gunmen have stormed a university in the Kenyan town of Garissa near the Somali border. Several deaths have been reported, while dozens more have been injured, some seriously. There are apparently a number of students being held hostage within the university grounds, but about 50 have been rescued. That's according to the Red Cross. Joining me live from Nairobi is our Chief Africa correspondent, Robin Creel. Robin, always a great pleasure. Now, we know that Al-Shabaab has claimed responsibility for this attack. What have they had to say?
Well, really the same things that we've heard previously, very ominous, saying that Kenyans will be shocked when they find out just how many people died in this attack, saying that this attack is in retaliation for the Kenyan Defense Forces fighting the Al-Shabaab insurgent group in Somalia. KDF sent their troops across the border in 2011 to fight the militant group as part of the UN Charter 54, which states defending the right to defending your own country's right. Dudu, what I can tell you is it is raining here in Nairobi. I'm not sure if it's raining in Garissa. I doubt it. It is very, very hot there usually. But nighttime will be falling. And many of the students who are caught up in this siege were supposed to go on their Easter break tonight, which would have lasted, tomorrow's obviously Good Friday, and which would have lasted until Monday. Instead, we understand these 200, perhaps more, are unaccounted for. We hope not, but everything seems to indicate that they are holed up in one single dormitory by Al-Shabaab gunmen. We're not sure how well armed those gunmen are, how many of them there are, if they have any explosive devices such as suicide vests with them. But it is a very tragic night, and for the families and indeed fellow students of those students holed up in that hospital, it must be absolutely agonizing as every minute passes and as bombs and shooting rains out every now and again.
A devastating situation indeed. And Robin, we've been getting reports that the gunmen have separated people according to religion, where the Christians are put on one side and the Muslims are put on another side. Are you hearing anything about this at all?
Yes, Muslim students, many Muslim students, those who weren't hurt in the initial onslaught. The gunmen really stormed the area at 5:30 this morning when many students were on their way to morning prayer. They separated Muslims and Christians and allowed the Muslims to leave. That's how obviously police are getting the news and the intelligence of exactly what happened. As I said, students were on their way to morning prayer. This particular area, Garissa, is just a few kilometers from the border with Somalia. So really, it's almost part of Somalia in a way, northeastern. The two are northeastern Kenya and southern Somalia are almost synonymous. Very similar people, the same tribes. And while they are two different countries, one which has been in the throes of civil war for 20 years, you know, they're almost the same people. And so it is a very heavily Muslim area as well. We weren't expecting this kind of an attack really to occur in a place like Garissa with such a high Muslim population, when Al-Shabaab says that it tries as hard as possible not to kill Muslims. When it embarks on its crusades, it says to kill Christians and Westerners and those who do not follow Sharia law. However, attacking a university where women were studying especially, this would be in line with their beliefs. They don't believe that women should go to school. They don't believe that people should go to schools that teach Western teachings. So that makes sense. Some other people believe, Dudu, that this might have been almost a mistake, really. Not a mistake as much as a deferred target. There was a lot of intelligence in the weeks preceding this attack, here in Nairobi and Mombasa as well, that the embassies, UK, US, Australian, British and Israeli were circulating, saying that there was some kind of a major planned attack on Western targets, busy targets. So a lot of the people had been forewarned that they should stay away from these sorts of targets. And perhaps Shabaab was looking to attack one of those sorts of places, a more Western institution. When it realized it couldn't, that security had been increased, they then went for the soft target, and unfortunately Garissa University might have been that soft target.
Robin, we understand that Kenyan Defence Forces are now in charge of that hostage situation at the university. Any indication of how they're handling it?
No, none of yet. If that is the case, that same thing happened in Westgate during the Westgate siege. It was initially a police situation, and then power was handed over to the military. And unfortunately, from there, it went quite badly. The military sent in an infantry unit in an area where it's an urban environment, where it's buildings and hostages and civilians, and indeed terrorists who are not scared to lose their lives. Then sometimes it is better to have smaller, more elite trained sort of people who are used to dealing with bank robberies and things like that than big military units going in, scary and intimidating as they might look. But however, we're not sure exactly what's happening on the ground. Police have cordoned off the area. Reporters can't see a whole lot of what's going on inside, probably for the best, since you don't want the attackers to be tipped off if they do happen to go into that final hostel. Indeed, with so many hostages, though, there's also the chance that many of the defence forces or security forces could end up losing their lives as well if this situation is to go horribly wrong.
Robin, thank you. That was eNCA Chief Africa Correspondent Robin Kriel with the latest on the students being held hostage at a university in the town of Garissa.